Why, hello there, Slick. I didn't see you come in. Welcome to the Tower of Creepy Steeple, a moonlit locale of immense romantic proportion that happens to also be my personal love nest. As you know, it's the month of love, and of making fine whoopee with your significant other. Unfortunately for those of us who aren't as charismatic as moi, not everyone has succeeded in laying claims on their Valentine. Fortunately for you, the love guru, Doopliss the duplighost, is here to transform that lonely lackey into a suave, sophisticated savant. And how, you might ask? Simple. By following these 5 easy tips, you too can put the moves on an unsuspecting Valentine. I hope you buckled your seatbelt, Slick, because we're about to go off-roading on the path of love, and it ain't properly paved. Tip 1. Hygiene. Let's face it, Slick, you stink. But that's okay. We all stink. Whether it's the fact we haven't had access to a working shower for a week, or the terrible sins you've committed from days long gone, leaving a taint upon your wretched soul, everyone reeks. Unfortunately for you, most Valentines are repelled by the heinous odor emanating from your body, despite the fact that they don't smell much better. Make sure you don't tell them that. Anyway, Slick, one approach can be changing your Valentine's attitude on nasty scents. But unless your Valentine is someone in a coma, it can be hard to sway their opinion. That's where Plan B comes in. Using modern technology, we can temporarily remove this smell for as cheap as $3 to $5. First, visit your local laundromat. For those of you who already own a washer and dryer, you can use those too in the comfort of your own home. Make sure to bring your favorite brand of detergent. I recommend Downy, my brand of choice. From there, you can climb into the washer and wait for the spin cycle to begin. Make sure a friend or family member is on hand to start the machine. If you want, you can bring a magazine in with you. Just make sure it's laminated. Simply repeat this process for the dryer, and you'll be clean as a whistle in no time, Slick. You'll smell as fresh as a flower, or like a summer's rain, assuming, of course, that the flower and the rain smell like detergent. Tip 2. Communication. Whether you've talked to your Valentine before, or you've been stalking them from afar, you still need to remember the importance of communication skills. A good conversationalist is like a polar bear. They're able to break the ice of awkwardness, so they can feast on the sweet, sweet seal of love that just lurks beneath the surface. But, like any polar bear knows, the ice of awkwardness can be rather thin in some spots. So instead of whacking away with a sledgehammer, it's important that you approach your Valentine with a gentle and tactful technique. Corner them so they can't escape, then proceed to discuss a topic you both feel comfortable conversing about. Some suggestions for topics include religion, politics, yo mama jokes, and Doopliss. Guess who doesn't like talking about Doopliss, am I right, Slick? Observe this carefree conversation I have to see this ice-breaking in action. Hey, Slick, it's nice to meet you. How about we talk about me for a while? I'm so amazing.
Oh, Doopliss, you're such a charmer. Take me now, stud.
For some of you, you may come across the problem where your Valentine may not like what you're saying, or they disagree with your opinion. If they do, they're obviously wrong, and probably are a bad Valentine anyway. I suggest seeking another Valentine who agrees with everything you say. Tip 3. Storage space. Your Valentine is probably a delicate flower, and will often need somewhere to rest once the two of you are done with all the romancing. It is for this reason that you'll need a place to store your lovey-dovey till you're ready to proceed with more Valentining. What's important to note is that every Valentine is different and will require their own unique accommodations. My Valentines usually consist of various blankets and sheets that are easy to fold and put under my chair, but I understand that some people have a weird taste in other things like women and men. While they may require some creasing and an extra fold or two, don't let that discourage you. You can purchase space as needed. For women, I suggest fine Tupperware. Make sure you get an extra large container in case your Valentine is larger, such as if they're a whale or a futon, or if you have multiple Valentines. Try attending a Tupperware party for additional options. If your Valentine is a man, I suggest storing them in a can. If you can. See what I did there? If you have a low budget, you can be creative. Try storing your Valentine in the fridge, for example. Not only will they stay fresh, but your Valentine will appreciate how you gave up precious cold cut space for them. It's about the little things, Slick. Remember that. That's like tip 3.5. Tip 4. Transform into what they desire. Valentines, as wonderful as they are typically crude, predictable beings with an agenda. Oftentimes, what they seek for in this little thing we call life is something that isn't you. Things like money, power, or Brad Pitt. Since you can't change them, the logical thing to do is change yourself instead. The first step is to identify what you need to try becoming. Try Googling the name or hacking their Facebook in order to determine what or who they most desire. From there, it's a simple matter of calling upon the dark duplighost god of trickery and chaos, Doopliss, to grant you a new form. Remember to make sure you have at least 7 flower points, and that Doopliss hasn't cursed you with 1,000 years of suffering and torture for your insolence. You can usually tell if you've been cursed depending on the frequency with which you start losing your car keys. So, you've transformed into the object or individual of desire, and you've caught your Valentine's eye. At this point, you have the upper hand, but you need to be cautious. Don't get all weird on your Valentine. Typically, the love of your life may not be too fond of you impersonating someone else. Some may even argue that this deception is not the basis for a healthy and stable relationship, so make sure that they never find out. Ever. However, sometimes this doesn't work. Either you can't transform at the time, or you've been found out. In any case, you've reached the position where your Valentine just outright doesn't like you. But that's okay, Slick. Lots of people have Valentines that don't like them. But that's okay. I can help you get around that with our next tip. Tip 5. Blackmail. This one speaks for itself. Get the dirt, and then they'll flirt. That's how I met my lovely curtains over there. Say hello, Scarlett. You don't even want to know the dirt I got on her. You see, everyone has something that they love and cherish, and if that thing isn't you, then this is our next handy item in our toolbox of dating. Ironically enough, that thing the person loves and cherishes can be used to your advantage. Be it a precious heirloom, juicy information, or a small child, these things and many more can provide precious leverage that you couldn't get anywhere else. It's simple, Slick. Steal their most prized possession, hide it in a safe and secure spot, preferably not the storage spaces we mentioned earlier, and tell your Valentine that you love them so much that you're willing to return their precious object, given that they go out with you for some romantic shenanigans. If they begin to start crying or sobbing, you can typically make a few empty threats to keep them focused on the fun-filled day ahead. Personally, Slick, I prefer quoting popular movies in order to show that I'm a fun-loving, hip duplighost. Put that lotion in the basket, eh, Slick? If your Valentine does something rash, like contact the police or try to attack you, it's probably a good idea to give them some space and time to think. After all, this is a very stressful time in their life. A smart dater knows when to be compassionate and understanding. And that, my dear Slicks, is my 5 tips for successfully wooing your Valentine. You're now well equipped to tackle all the struggles that a young bachelor, bachelorette, or sheik could possibly come across. There's nothing more that I can teach you, but remember one last important thing. Just be yourself, Slick.